What a nice day. Hope nothing bad happens today. Hope nothing bad happens today. What a nice day. Oi, friend. A question. Do you know why people always stop and watch a blacksmith at work? Because he's riveting. It's good to see a new face in this sad hole. Oh, of course. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm Osbert, local master of hammers and anvils. Do you need your blade sharpened? Not really. Especially since we went into a lockdown a while ago. People used to come and go. Now and then a ship would make a stop at the village below, but nobody's really come around since. Well, since the entire shit show that's going down everywhere. Now that I think of it, you're the first they've let in. What'd you do? Who did you bribe? Oh, so you have friends in Camelot. Good for you. Of course I do. Those pins are peak craftsmanship, and very rare at that. We only gave them out on Camelot's orders. But when I look at you... well, it's pretty obvious you wouldn't be able to beat a knight. And even if you found one already dead, you'd sooner nick his armor than a pin you knew nothing about. Either way, good for you. Yeah, after we lost 2 squads trying to take back the All-Mother's Temple from the Dalrita, our captain decided that nobody leaves the Horns. Then, he shut himself in his office, without leaving us any orders. Feargus is trying to keep the lads occupied, but... just look around. Half of the people here are losing their minds, and the rest are losing their wages on drink. Sometimes I wonder, how many things can go wrong at the same time. They say that misery loves company, but here? It's like we've done something to anger the gods, and they're taking their sweet revenge. First, we started hearing that the weirdness was spreading near Grubwood. Soon after that, we saw waves of bandits approaching from there. Desperate people. They took a lot of our territory. Then, the Dalrita tribes took over the All-Mother's Temple. And after that, the supply chains from Camelot collapsed for some reason. And so on and so forth. We're in quite a pickle, my friend. We've started betting on what's going to happen next. Sea monsters? Who knows? Truth be told, most of them are just people desperate to survive. When the villagers started dying out because of the weirdness, hunger, or raids, they lost their livelihoods, ended up with nothing to their names, and nowhere to go. So they banded together and started raiding whatever was left. Then they turned to killing each other. They're like rabid wolves. Too bad they're here now, too. Yes, that damn forest north of here was already cursed and creepy. But now, I've heard it's an entirely different level of crazy. They say that some men here started going dark up north. With that, the weirdness started moving. And when the weirdness gets here, well, we're fucked. But you know that. Every child has heard the stories. That's... I don't know. It's hard to explain. They kept to themselves, perched in the mountains near the forlorn swords. Then something happened, and suddenly we saw ships arriving near our eastern shores. A couple days later, the tribes took over. One good thing is that the bandits aren't up to fighting with them. One bad thing, we aren't either. Ha! Friend, I wish. But the only task I could use help with might be a bit too delicate for you to handle. Unless you're a master goldsmith, then feel free to prove it, and I'll have work for you immediately. There's just not enough of them to go around, and now that we're on lockdown, there's not much demand for my services either. Listen, I said I don't have any jobs, as in things I'd pay you for doing. That doesn't mean I can't teach you a thing or two, if you're willing to learn, that is. Since you're free to wander about while I'm stuck in the keep, maybe we can make good use of that. You've probably bashed in the skull of a beast or two, right? The alchemists. They're likely snatching up the corpses, using the muck to cook their weird concoctions. But perhaps you'd rather craft yourself some armor from those hides, huh? We should start with something simple. Let's see. I'll give you some notes on how to make armor. You gather the materials and get to work. And when you're done, you can bring it over so I can see what you've made. Always good to have a little rest. Well now, that's not half bad. Not half bad at all. Solid work and you didn't skimp on the details. You've nailed the basics, so how about we try something a bit fancier, huh? Always good to...
So, I haven't seen you before. I wasn't expecting any guests, and you don't look like a new recruit. And yet, Odrin let you in. He's not drinking again, I hope. Huh, that's surprising. But good. Very good. He's been a drunk for as long as I can remember. Keeps saying he'll stop, but he never does. At least not for long.
The name's Fergus, and I assume you already know I'm the quartermaster here. Now state your business.
And please, try to be convincing, or the walls of this fortress will be the last thing you'll ever see. Yes, I know. And that's why you're still standing in front of me. However, these pens were only given to certain people. They mean that in times of trouble, these people will always find a safe haven here in the Horns.
That makes me wonder, what happened to your friend? Where is he? If what you're saying is true, he must have had a deal with somebody well above my pay grade, and that leaves only the captain.
However, if you're lying, then you might as well have just confessed to the murder of a Knight of the Round Table. But nobody's that much of a fool, I think. Fortunately for you, I've seen my fair share of morons in life, and you don't look like one. Fortunately for me, this pen only means that I'm to make sure you're safe in the Horns. Nothing about helping you out with whatever you're up to.
Anyway, welcome to the Horns of the South. Make yourself at home.
Fine then. This is the keep. Anyone sworn in as a keeper lives here, unless they're no longer fit for service. If that happens, they get transferred to the village. Otherwise, they're not allowed to go there without my express permission. So if you ever see any of my boys down there looking shifty, feel free to report them.
You're allowed to walk around the keep and the village, but if anyone catches you stealing, I'll take your hands. If you attack any of my men, I'll take your head. That enough for you? I'm Captain Brandon's right hand. He deals with the serious matters I don't want to know anything about. I take care of our everyday life. He's not our first line of defense. The archers are. Every man here needs to have a job. And no offense to Odrin, but let's just say we can afford to lose him. I'm sure the hordes of visitors clamoring at our gates can survive the insult. That's between her and the captain. Were it up to me, she'd be long gone. Her presence here distracts my men. That's one of our tags. Every soldier gets one when they pledge their loyalty. I just hope the body you took it from was already cold, because killing a keeper would land you in some serious trouble. You know, here's what I'm thinking. If you stumble over any of our fallen keepers out there, bring me their tags. Sure, they all swore to stay here until the bitter end, but they have families who deserve to know what became of them. It's part of my duty, but since I can't send any more beyond these walls, maybe you could lend a hand. I'll pay you for every tag you bring back. You know where to find me if you come across any more. Ninian. I knew the Red Death would take him. Damn shame. He was one of the good ones. You did right bringing this back. The Horns look after their own, even after they're gone. But, now that I think of it, how did you manage to get hold of his tag? Tortured? In the asylum? You can't expect me to take that at face value. Brother Rialgan said Ninian was too weak to survive the journey. They came for him, and we even held a symbolic keeper's burial for him. And what were you doing in the island asylum? You look fine, but if you were there, near him... I'm sorry this happened to you. Still, you have to understand, now that you've told me this, I'll be keeping a close eye on you. No risks can be taken when it comes to the Red Death. Just as I thought. If you have friends among the knights, you'll want to talk to the captain. But that's not happening anytime soon. Because I said so. What? Did you really expect that you could just enter our keep and head straight for the captain's quarters? There wouldn't be much point in having walls and guards here if anyone could just do that, would there? We've been having trouble with the dead lately. The kind that don't want to rest in peace. There are more and more of them roaming the area. It might just be the weirdness, as it has been steadily creeping closer from the north, but somehow I doubt it. Anyway, I suggest you go see Marg first. He knows best what's going on there. He's our huntsman. He keeps us stocked with meat, so the lads don't have to live on fish alone. They get pretty grumpy when that happens. Right now, Marg is the only other person who's allowed to leave the keep. I'm not about to risk the life of our last link to the outside world, especially when you're so eager to lend a hand. There is a local legend about a dark druid named Slaughter? Slaughter, that was it. He was a necromancer rumored to be able to raise the dead and make them do his bidding. It's quite an old legend, though, so unless he managed to raise himself from the dead, I doubt he's behind this. It's not far, and it's hard to miss. But honestly, I'd suggest you go see Marg first. You don't really know what you're walking into, so if I were you, I'd try to learn as much as possible beforehand. It's old. From what I've heard, it even predates the Horns of the South. The keepers and the people from the village below used to bury their dead there, but after the flood, it's been pretty much abandoned. Yeah, damn druids. They flooded a village of innocent people just to show everyone they're still in power. Fat lot of good it did them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm glad we got rid of them. The things they could do were unnatural. The captain forbade anyone from leaving the keep, so I couldn't. And truth be told, I didn't particularly want to. We don't get many recruits, and you're, well... Your words, not mine. Good. Try not to get yourself killed, and get rid of whatever's been causing the problem.
It used to belong to the keep. You could say it was its beating heart. That village was where our lighthouses led the ships, and where the workers lived with their families. Ah, those must have been the days. But then the ships stopped coming, and there were less and less new keepers, and the others left looking for a better life.
Until, at last, the sea took most of it.
What else was there to do? There weren't enough people to live there, and nobody wanted to anyway. Not since the monsters started coming out of the sea. We wiped out most of them, but new ones showed up every now and then. Mark, our hunter, keeps an eye on the place. You can talk to him if you want. Depends on your idea of interesting. There's a weird statue with a gong, but I'm not sure how much of it is left. Other than that, probably just damp rubble. I don't know. Ask Marg. I'm pretty sure he just sits there all day instead of hunting. No wonder we've been eating nothing but fish. Yes? Did you find out what's been happening out there? Why not?
If you need rest, you can sleep in the barracks. It's no royal chamber, but it's better to sleep under a roof than under the stars, right? Especially in this horrible weather.
This feeling, it was so strong, so real. I remember now the weight of it, the power. This blade was never just steel. It was a part of me. Yes, the sensation is unmistakable. But it carries more than my soul. It carries a part of my legacy. A sword like that, it doesn't yield easily. It demands strength of body and of will. You'll need to grow stronger before it will choose you.
Something.
Watch where you're going. Nice to see you.
I like it when things are quiet. Why are you sneaking around? Sometimes it's nice to just sit and think.
Pix and Dalray, here, yes. And they say I'm not drunk.
Oh, a new face. I haven't seen you before. It depends on who's asking and why. No, I'm kidding. I don't meet many outsiders these days. I'm Marg, a hunter in the service of the Horns of the South. I don't know what it is about this place, but even the dead hardly ever get any rest. Though I'll admit, it's getting worse lately. They keep emerging from the local cemetery in numbers greater than that small plot of land ever held. So I'm guessing we might have a necromancer on our hands. And here I thought after the Charred Conclave, we'd have more than 100 years of peace from them. Only every century or so. But even that's too often if you ask me. Something seems to draw them here. Well, that's probably all that death. The South has always been restless, and after what happened with the sunken village, I guess death has seeped into the very soil of this land. Must be quite alluring for that lot. Because I'm not stupid or suicidal. I can go up against a few undead, but their masters are a different story. I'm a simple hunter, while they have the power to raise the dead. Arrows are only good against magic if you're far away from the caster, which is impossible in the crypt. But if you decide not to help, I'll have no choice, will I? Or I could just wait for the necromancer to be destroyed by what they summoned. It happens sometimes, from what I've heard. Good. Try not to die. That undead swarm doesn't need any more recruits. Everything is interesting around here. But ultimately, it depends on what you're looking for.
Who goes there? Are you the one responsible for all that racket? People are trying to rest in peace, damn it. You should be. These folks fell into their eternal slumber a long time ago. But some of them have turned out to be very light sleepers. Not their fault, but we should at least try not to wake them up. I'm telling you, ever since people started burning their dead, it's like they've forgotten proper manners in places like this. My name's Huardok, and I am the keeper of this place. I look after the dead, or at least, I try to. It used to be much easier where they stayed in one place. Now I need to keep making sure they don't stray too far from the cemetery. But I'm not complaining. A little exercise is good for the body. Truth be told, I'm not quite sure. Has it been a long time since the wave came and swallowed the village? That was when people stopped coming here. It's like the sea washed away the memory of this place as well. I don't remember much of what happened afterwards. I must have fallen asleep for a while. Dead, alive, what's the difference? I am here. I always have been, and I always will be, until the day I'm released from my service. I know everything that happens here. If you're looking for some juicy gossip, Becca from the third row south still has no idea where her husband is. They were supposed to be buried together, you see, but he never showed up. The scoundrel. Everyone here thinks he got remarried and chose to rest with his second wife. Not me. I think he probably got eaten. Oh, that would be Master. He's been at his experiments again, I'm afraid. Getting the folks around here all agitated. Putting them back to sleep again is going to be such a chore. Master is Master. He commands the dead. I don't know much else. I'm here to serve, not to ask questions. Dunno. Usual. Glowing chalk, candles, and dead bodies. I even saw some new faces recently, but they didn't stay long. Because it's my purpose. The sole reason I was brought back. That has never changed, just as I haven't. But I'm happy where I am. The dead need company too, you know. The folks here were forsaken by the living. At least I can make sure they're not. You want me to betray his trust that easily? We barely know each other. I wouldn't tell you even if I could. Interested in local history, are you? Good, good. The memory of those who came before us should be preserved. I can let you in. There is a small fee of 5 gold coins, for the upkeep of the cemetery, of course. It's constant work, as you can clearly see, and my petitions for additional funds seem to have fallen on deaf ears. Bless you, kind stranger. Those old bones are not what they used to be. Here, just take the key. Be careful, though. There's evil dwelling in those crypts. Oh, and I hope I don't need to remind you not to rob any graves. It's terribly rude, and I'd rather not deal with the complaints.
It's more than a sword. It's a promise. A blade that stands for unity, for strength, and for hope. It wasn't just mine. It belonged to Avalon. Every swing, every battle was fought for the land and its people. But Excalibur is also a burden. It demands more than just skill. It demands purpose. Without that, then it is just steel.
Careful there. Try not to step on the array. It's advanced magic. Very fragile. Stop. Well, what I am doing here is very important. Besides, I'm hardly hurting anyone. Well, anyone that matters, that is. Oh, please. Is that the only thing people can think of when it comes to necromancy? What use would I have with an army? My ambition isn't to command the dead, but death itself. I aim to make Avalon a place where people won't have to fear it anymore. The problem is, I keep missing something. Raising the dead is easy, but I don't want mindless minions. I want truly living undead. Yet no matter what I do, it just won't work. Nonsense. The process, as you aptly called it, holds no secrets from me. I have studied its every stage, every aspect, all while keeping meticulous records. It's almost insulting how straightforward it is, how little variety there is at its very core. Death truly does make all of us equal. And yet, capturing the connection between the flesh and the spirit continues to elude me. No matter how I approach it. I've even tried to force it, but to no avail. Warduk. You mean the servant? I'm not sure where you got that idea, but he is indeed merely a minion. Quite a sophisticated one, I'll admit, but he's never said more than 2 words to me. Fine. If you wish to waste your time with him, go ahead. Who knows? Maybe his first master simply forbade him from speaking his mind. Still, don't hold your breath for any groundbreaking insights.
Oh, you're back. Is he? I couldn't tell. I don't mean any offense, but they're all the same to me. Every one of them thinks they're reinventing death or breaking the circle of life. And the only thing they're doing is disturbing some honest folk in their rest. Ah, no! I'm sure he won't be the last. This place is very popular with their kind for some reason. And they always leave it in such a state. It's not like it would hurt them to pick up a few bones and put them back in place. I don't have much choice, do I? But I don't mind the service. I like being around the dead. It's just the constant cleanup that gets to you after a while. Ah, no. I just don't think we have anything to talk about. I don't mean any offense, but truth be told, they're all the same to me. Every one of them thinks they're reinventing death or... Oh, does he now? That's quite admirable. And rather unusual for his kind. Normally, they act as though they know all there is to know, yet they always end up baffled by their failures. Oh, I'd love to help, but alas, I'm not certain I can. You see, death is intensely personal, and as such, quite indescribable. Well, whether you die alone or surrounded by loved ones, dying is the loneliest experience of our lives. It can't be shared or taken from someone. In the end, no matter how it happens, our death is the only thing that truly belongs to us. It's a potent experience, one for which there are no words, because there is simply no need for them. Nobody is meant to die and then return to tell the tale. I'm glad to have been of assistance. Though I do wonder how the Master will react when he hears about this. I just hope he doesn't do anything that will cause even more trouble here.
Well, what earth-shattering revelation do you have for me? Are you threatening me? That's, No, it can't be that simple. It sounds so... sentimental. I don't believe in things that are indescribable or unmeasurable. But how do I make sure I don't share the fate of the others? I mean, how do I remain? Ah, that's it. Perhaps that's the very core of the problem. What's needed is a subject who is perfectly aware of what's happening, one who understands the intent behind everything. And that subject could only be me. Plus, there might be a few advantages to having an undead body. Let's see. Just need a few things and...
Oh, well, this is a fine kettle of fish, isn't it? Poor master. He must be terribly confused. I am the keeper of this cemetery. I know everything that happens around here. Master is... well, he's not really the master anymore. But he became one of us, so it is my duty to watch over him. Master's heart was in the right place, mostly. But his head was always all over the place. The dead, you see, they have simple needs and simple regrets. When there's too much clutter, things can get tangled up. But who am I to dwell on such matters? I'm just a simple servant, after all. Things like this are far beyond my understanding. Oh, it's very kind of you, but there's no need to worry. I will take care of him, just as I care for the others. I cannot promise he will be happy, but I'll at least make sure he'll be at peace. His mind has always been so tormented. He deserves some respite. Oh, please, visit any time. I'm sure it'll make him happy. And I suppose I won't be going to sleep just yet. Not while the Master is still adjusting to his new state. It might be a good time to tidy up around here. Who knows? I might stumble upon a few useful items for your journey. So, don't be a stranger. Oh, you're back. Oh,